How's it going? This is Bill Ladd. What a beautiful day, 72 degrees, and what a beautiful spot I'm standing on. Hopefully you can see right here. We got a beautiful cellar hole, colonial. I know it like the back of my hand. Hunted it for years, starting with CZs, coin strike. Well, now we're coming back with some new weapons. Today I'm borrowing a Teknetics Omega. And a lot of people might know that my favorite cellar hole machine is the Teknetics T2. We're going to give this thing a run in the iron, see how it goes, give it a good test. Also got the T2 behind me. We'll compare some signals. Got some of these little flags to mark off targets. And let's hit it. Let's do this. Now keep in mind I'm using this for the first time. I just borrowed this yesterday, so this is a learning process. We're going to learn as we can go. But I'm pretty impressed with the build quality of this. It didn't look good in the pictures to me, but this is the same handle as the T2. It looks like a lot like a T2, and I always thought this looked really cheap in the pictures, but really this is a nice solid arm cup here, and this looks breakable in the pictures, but it's really hard plastic. You'd have to smash it on a rock to break it, so build quality is a lot better than it looks. I'm pretty impressed with it. I'm impressed with the layout of it too. Really nice. Let's turn this thing on and get going here. We'll run down this quick. Again, I'm still learning this thing, trying to get out of the sun glare here. Discrimination, I've been reading a lot about it and trying to replicate what the T2 does in iron. We're going to set the discrimination at 16, hopefully just break up the nails. Now the sensitivity, I really like these non-clicking buttons too. See how you can really fly through the settings? Lot like an F5. I like to crank it up. We'll start out with 90. So what do we got? We got disc on 16 for the iron. Now the ground grab's really nice. This is impressive here. I like this ground error thing. This is something the T2 doesn't have exactly like this. It's really going to show you when you need to readjust your ground balance. I think it's pretty cool. First we're going to pump it. See, it's getting a good ground balance around 60 or so. Nice pumping. It's going to settle in there. Now if there was a problem, if I was balancing on iron or the ground severely changes, this where my thumb is, this ground error is going to start showing some bars. And then you can adjust it with these up and down arrows. See, it's starting to show something there. But unless there's a severe error, that ground setting should be good for a while at least. Again, this is the first time using it, and this is a really we're going to test in iron. Now one thing before we start the test, this coil is not a double D. This is a coil I got it with. I believe they have a double D coil that the same one my T2 has as an accessory now, or you may be able to purchase it for a little more money with that. So I'm going to be a little bit hamstrung using this coil as opposed to the T2 one. But we'll give it a run anyways. I hear this machine is really supposed to be quiet in iron as compared to the other ones. Another thing I like to do on the T2 is try 2 tones. And when we get into the tones, that's 3 tones, D3, 4 tones. I may start off on 1. But I like to hear that chirp on the T2 at 2 tones. We may play with that as well. Maybe we'll start off with 1 and see what happens. But one thing on the 1 tone, the D1 here, one thing I'm seeing is it doesn't just completely have that one monotone. If you're close to a target, it kind of squeals the more shallow it is. That's a pretty neat feature. So it really isn't just one continuous tone. Let me show you some of there's a carpet of nails in front of me while I get the headphones off. Let's scan a few and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. See, that's a nail being only 15, 17, but here the squeal is shallow nail. 26 is probably another big nail. Hear how high tone that is, and the signal strength above the number shows it. That means it's really shallow, half an inch or so. I want to show you something else I've noticed. A big piece of iron seems to be defaulting at 99. See, there's a 99 above it, which is a piece of iron. I got a 50s and 60s right here. So we'll get the flag out and we'll mark that off. Look at this sweet flag I got here. This is a Fisher flag from Los Banos Fisher, early one. And my favorite target marker. Alright, let's keep going here. That's a pretty repeatable, it's in the 50s mostly, and then I see a 99 shoot in, so we'll have to investigate this one. Well, I have to say I'm really enjoying, I'm getting away from the foundation, and I'm cranking this thing up. I got disc on 1. I've got 99 sensitivity. So I'm pretty much running this thing as hot as you can, and it's abnormally quiet at that setting, where if you've seen my T2 video where I do 0 disc and 99 sensitivity, you hear a constant hum. So this is pretty nice machine, and it's easy on the ears. Here it is. Look at that. Tiny lead 22 bullet. That shows the power this thing has. Impressive power on a tiny target like that. Well, back where that spot where the white Fisher flag was that we marked off earlier, I think it was maybe a jumpy target in the 50s or something like that, 50s, 60s. Now I got something out in the dirt that just shot up to a 70. Let me show you. '68, 70, 66. That's good button range maybe. Check it out. Something over here. Whoa, here we go. Indian head. It's a nice Indian. And see, in the sandy soil, the backside's really in nice shape. That's gonna clean up nice. That's pretty cool. And that's one of those flagged off targets. So there's a small coin on a NH Cellar Hole. Pretty impressive for the Omega. You can see a lot of times the coins here in our area, one side is coated, and usually you can just flake it off with your fingernail or a wooden toothpick. See if I can get a date for you without messing it up. I wet this thing a little bit, and I wanted to get a date because I saw it was 1870 something, but it looks like 1871, and that's a semi-key date right there. If this cleans up as good as that back looks, It could be a nice, valuable coin. I've found one other 71. Yeah, it's in the 50s, about the same as the T2, so I think the number systems are matching up. Let's see what we got on this mark. In my hand. What is this? Yeah, hard to hold everything at once here. Looks like a two-piece. Yeah, it's like a two-piece flower button. Yeah, exactly what it is. Little cuff button. Not bad, and each machine nailed that one. Cool. So thanks for tuning into this quick hunt with the new Teknetics Omega. I spent a few good hours with the machine. I'm pretty impressed, I have to say. It's nice and deep. I re-hunted the same areas, stayed in one little area next to this cellar hole that I pointed out earlier, stayed right in there, worked in the trash, cranked it up all the way, and went back over the same spot with the T2, and the Omega didn't miss anything. I have to point out that unlike some people thinking that it's just a lower price T2, to me it's more like the Fisher F5. I believe with a double D coil you probably could get good with it in iron with playing with that setting of 16 with a double D coil. I couldn't replicate it the first day, but you know, I've got several years experience in the iron with the T2. This definitely sounds different. Looks and acts more like looks like an F5 to me, but again, I was pretty impressed with it. I got good depth. We got a couple of typical cellar hole finds, button, Indian head, some other pieces of odds and end relic brass. So all in all, it was a good day. Again, I'm not an expert after just the first day with the Omega, but I have to say it was a pretty good test, and we'll have to do it again. Thanks for tuning in, and I'm going to grab my machines and hike out through these pines.